"What are you doing?" Adrian said as the car came to a stop. "Keep going." "I don't want to ruin my car," said Chelsea. "Fuck the car. We've got to get as far away as possible." "Are you going to pay for the damages? Besides, that woman is a mile away. She'll never catch up to us." "You want to bet your life on that?" Chelsea stared at him for a moment. "I'm not going anywhere until you tell me what the hell just happened back there." She turned to Cinderella in the back seat. "Where's your fucking clothes?" Cin was looking back the way they'd come. "Shit, Barbara, what happened to you?" "That thing attacked her, that's what happened," said Adrian. "You mean that lady in the scary costume?" "It's not a costume. That thing rose up from the grave and killed Thorne." "You mean she was hiding in one of the tombs?" "She wasn't hiding. It was entombed. It was dead and buried." Chelsea shook her head. "That's impossible," she said. "It should have been impossible, but it happened." A car was coming up the road. "Shit," Chelsea said. She pressed a button, and the top began to unfold. She looked in the mirror. "Shit, Barbara, we gotta get you some clothes." She took off her jacket and handed it to Cin. Shivering, Cinderella put on the jacket. It was flimsy, being designed more for fashion than for actual protection from the weather. "We'll go to your house, and then I'll call Robert to come pick me up." "No," Cinderella said. "My mother will freak if she sees me naked. I'd be grounded for life." Adrian interrupted. "Look, I'm not a big fan of the cops, but don't you think we should tell them what happened at the cemetery?" "You talk to them," Chelsea said. "I don't have time. I've got to get back to the house and get ready for the party. Besides, I don't really know what happened anyway." "I told you, that thing rose up out of the coffin and killed Thorne." "What were you three doing in the crypt in the first place?" "Sightseeing." "Let's go to your house," Cinderella said. "Let me borrow some of your clothes." "Sounds good, but I'm not sure if this car will make it that far," said Chelsea. "Adrian's house isn't that far. We can stop there and then drive his car to your place." Chelsea wrinkled her nose. "I think I'd rather get Robert to come pick us up." "My car's not good enough for you," said Adrian. "As a matter of fact, it's not. It's a piece of junk, and I wouldn't be caught dead in it." "But I'm naked," said Cinderella. "You want Robert to see me naked?" Chelsea thought about it a moment. Okay. "We'll take his stupid car." "All right, let's go then before it catches up to us," Adrian said. The convertible limped into the driveway. "My father's going to kill me when he finds out what I've done to this car," Chelsea said. "You should be happy you're still alive," Adrian said. "I'll make sure to tell him that," she said. They climbed into Adrian's car, an old Dodge with a smashed right front fender and almost as much rust as paint. When the engine started, it was obvious the car was missing a muffler. "God, that's way too loud. Grandmother will hear us coming a mile away. They'll be waiting on us when we drive up. We'll have to use the service road." Adrian backed the Dodge out of the driveway. A woman came out of the house wearing curlers in her hair. She yelled something. "I think your mother's calling you." "I know," he said. He shifted into drive and stomped on the gas. The car lurched forward, accelerating down the road. The sun was setting as Adrian turned off the road and came to a stop in front of a metal gate. The trees obscured the fading sunlight, creating a premature twilight. Chelsea got out and opened the gate. When she was back inside, Adrian eased up the gravel path. It was just wide enough for one vehicle. Thick woods surrounded them on both sides. "How is it that the princess even knows about this entrance?" he asked. Chelsea smiled. "Are you kidding? After everyone thinks I'm asleep, I sneak out and meet Scott here all the time." "Well, aren't you the little slut?" "You presume that my secret nocturnal adventures are of a sexual nature. Rich girls are just as horny as poor ones. How would you know? I can't imagine any girl would be interested in you, regardless of wealth." I've had my fair share of girls. It doesn't count if you have to pay for it, Chelsea said, laughing at her own joke. I've never paid for it, he said. Methinks he doth protest too much, Chelsea said, looking back at Cinderella. Are you all right? You haven't said anything in a while. I just want to put some clothes on, Sin said. Just a few more minutes, Barb. Sin cringed. She hated being called Barb. It was one syllable short of Barbie, a name she was called all through elementary school. When she started high school and began her transformation into Cinderella, they switched to calling her Barbie Q. They said she looked like barbecue spare ribs because of her black clothes and skinny frame. Obviously, it was an insult, but she liked it better than just Barbie. The service road ended at a wide, single-story building. 3 cars were parked here. In the distance, beyond the building, was the manor house. Adrian parked next to the other cars, out of sight from the main house. Chelsea opened her door to leave. I'll be back after I change into my costume, she said. And don't worry, nobody's going to come out this way. They're too busy with the party right now. She walked off, leaving Cinderella and Adrian alone together. They sat in silence for a time. Adrian was the first to speak. We should have called the police, he said. What can the police do? Both the guards had guns, yet they couldn't stop her. Nothing can stop her. Don't say that. Something has to hurt her, he said. Like what? I don't know. Silver bullets? Holy water? They're for werewolves and vampires. How do you know she's not a vampire? She doesn't look like any vampire I've seen in a movie. But those were just movies. How do we know what real vampires look like? Then how do we know that holy water works on vampires? We don't, but stories of vampires have been around long before movies, and there's always some way to stop them. We just have to figure out what that something is. What if she's not a vampire? Maybe she's a zombie. Then we chop her head off. That works for both vampires and zombies. Cinderella didn't reply for a minute. If you're so sure she can be stopped, then why did you run away? I didn't have any weapons on me. What good could I have done? You left Thorn to die. You left me to die. I'm sorry, but I thought you were right behind me. But you didn't come back for me, did you? I'm sorry. I'm not a hero. I know that. Maybe I'm even a coward. I was scared out of my mind. I saw that thing attack Thorn, and I just knew he was dead. I knew it was going to come after us next. I didn't want to die. She stared at him for a moment, then looked away. Damn it, Sin, I'm sorry. I really am. I know you probably won't believe me, but I promise the next time the shit hits the fan, I got your back. I promise.